last year. Final stride outs, and for the final time, beautiful day in Indiana. We have a chance to take you across the boxes as a lot of enthusiastic and excited runners, all to be congratulated to getting themselves in this position for this moment as they will race for an NXN regional crown here in the Midwest. Really been just a beautiful weekend of racing, too, in terms of weather. The first weekend in Sioux Falls, South Dakota with the snow. And, of course, I called, you may have watched some of the highlights of the National Junior College Championships in Fort Dodge, Iowa. That was something out of, a remake of Revenant.
Only the strong survive, Paul.
But we'll take some sunshine. We'll take one final box here at the end. I mean, this is the beauty of cross country too. It is truly a team sport, and that is what this event started as, with kind of the Nike Team Championship, and has evolved now to the national championship for both teams and individuals. And the racing on this day will crown two champions, both the individual and the team. Again, record entries across the board at all these regionals this year, and they are wide and across this entire span of Laverne Gibson. And await the final instructions and the final championship race of the day.
You see 13-16 is Isabella Keller. She's had a phenomenal season so far, a younger athlete as well. She might be looking to shake things up, and probably one that's high on the list of trying to qualify as an individual.
Actually, no stranger to success on this course. Won the Nike XC Town Twilight back on October the 4th. Final moments of reflection. Gun is up. The Midwest region to crown a champion on the girls' side in 2025 as we welcome them out onto Laverne Gibson's championship course. The referee finds some space in between the madness, and the girls are out on the course.
Yeah, I think the big storyline today is, can Michigan qualify a team with Runners High Track Club? They come in ranked. They come in with a great squad. Can they make something happen today over the 5K course?
Always such a great shot in the early going of this cross-country championship event, where the top girls from 5 states around the region converge here, and we'll begin the race for a championship over 5 kilometers. You see the full start list now for both runners representing their teams, runners representing their regions and their hometowns, as they all kind of get into a rhythm here. Ben, you've had the luxury of being at the front of a lot of packs in your racing days, but also maybe as you were working your way up through kind of the earlier part of your career. What's that feeling like, kind of being into that mass of runners in the early going? You're just trying to find your space, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit of finding your space. It's a little bit about being confident, coming out, and kind of holding your own. You want to make sure that you don't kind of get boxed in or you get pushed back to the back, because once these athletes get moving, it's so hard, especially with such a deep talent pool. It's hard to make your way up. Right at maybe a state meet or your local invite, you have those opportunities, make a little bit more mistakes, but at this level, every mistake could be costly.
Great drone shot from behind here as we now get to the front of the pack. Emma Hoffman of Legacy Running out of Michigan, their Division II champion, and a new championship record, is out in the early going. Also won that Michigan Meet of Champions as part of her team. She was 12th in this race a year ago. And for the first time, we see Dudek sitting there in third, trying to get herself into a rhythm as well, the sophomore in the purple.
I like this running style. I was hoping to kind of see that she would be a little bit more cautious, kind of feel out the field and see what everybody else wants to do. Sometimes when you're in that position that everybody expects you to win, you go out and do something big, and sometimes it can be costly. You blow up, you don't make it, and for her, it'd be potentially letting her team down as well. So there's a little bit of pressure on the young athlete.
Well, Michigan asserting itself in the early going here as they've gone through the first kilometer, and it's a trio from the state of Michigan in the lead with Hoffman, Katie Berkshire, and Dudek. As we go high above here, they're on the west side of Laverne Gibson now, this long sloping twist to the top of the race course, and then you see in that athletic course tracker working their way to the 1 mile mark, and the leaders right now perfectly happy running 3 side by side as they work their way towards that mile mark.
Yeah, and Emma Hoffman is no stranger to the NXN course. She was 12th here last year. She won her state meet just recently in 1650. I think she's coming out here to make a big statement.
Well, in a race that lots of folks were focused on what Dudek could do, she continues to press on the outside shoulder of Hoffman. And Berkshire still there as they work their way here towards the mile mark, and they've already now opened up a sizable gap to the likes of Sunny Weber, Elena Aldrink, and Julia Score as we wait for them to get to that mile mark. See that elevation, they get that gentle downhill bend in the early going that kind of like almost sends them out on the course, and then a little bit of kind of 2 climbs on that effort to get up onto the top side of the course, and then those twists and turns running the exact same course that the boys just did.
Yeah, and there's this thing that championship great athletes do. They kind of lure you into this, let's call it the deep end of running, where they don't make it feel very hard, and you're running shoulder to the shoulder, but you're a little bit outside of your comfort zone. And I wonder, as we make this turn to go kind of back uphill, this is where kind of Natasha's going to make her big move. As you can see, we're already losing one. We're losing Katie off the back. Is Emma Hoffman going to hold strong? She feels like she's doing a little bit of work as we come into this first mile, where Natasha feels a little bit more relaxed just in terms of body language.
Yeah, and with every stride now, it's just kind of getting a little bit of daylight between her and Hoffman, as it's still this trio from Michigan in the lead, but now Dudek kind of asserting herself and making a statement as she moves directly in front of Hoffman, saying, hey, we're no longer running side by side. It is my race, and I'm taking control, as she makes that turn and still starting to break some more room between her and second place.
And I think Katie's got to be a little bit careful here that or Emma and Katie have to be a little bit careful here as they're unattached athletes, that they don't kind of fall victims to that idea of, hey, I could blow up and be outside of that top 5.
As you see the splits through the 1 mile mark, both on the team and the individual side, it was Hoffman leading at the mile, but obviously now as we're at 2K, and the split for Dudek in 6:24.8.
Yeah, that's strong running up front. Just kind of holding strong. Nothing big, but she's just been slowly kind of turning that screw as we work our way through this course.
Now places 1, 2, and 3 almost equidistant to each other here. Dudek with the lead. Again, the top 5 individuals get the invitation to Nike Cross Nationals. And if any one of those top 5 connected to a team that also advances, then that would open up spots for positions like Elena Aldrink, who is in 6th, and Isabel Keller, who is running in 7th through the 2K mark.
Isabella Keller is no stranger to this course. She's seen great success earlier this season on it. I'm kind of curious about how she works through the latter part of this race. She made a big move at Nike Town, kind of going up this hill to kind of secure a victory. Does she do the same as she kind of moves into that top 5 to make her way to NXN?
Well, no quit from Dudek right now as that lead continues to grow. Hoffman continues to try to hold as much as she can vis-a-vis the leader, but also thinking about just getting herself into that top 5. And that's a big moment there as they make that turn. And you saw Dudek did not take a look around, and Hoffman did. She's now wondering where everybody else is behind her.
Yeah, that was a big look. One that kind of makes you feel a little bit queasy. Did she go out a little bit hard and kind of get lured into the idea that she was up in that top? And now, you know, as we make this way into the finish, is it too far?
Well, you see 6 girls in view there. Top 5 automatically advance as Natasha Dudek came in as the maybe not the prohibitive favorite, but everyone thinking she was capable of making quick work of this Laverne Gibson course after breaking a record at the state meet that was held by Rachel Forsyth, who for the moment still has the course record here at Laverne Gibson of 1631.1 set back in 2023.
But I think what we're going to see here, Paul, is this later pack start moving up. They've been a little bit more quiet. They went out a little bit more cautious. They allowed the field to unfold a little bit. And I think we're going to see these 8th, 7th, 6th start making a big move when we get to the top of this hill.
Keep an eye on some of those girls on the bottom side of your screen. As you can see, Dudek is on a little bit of a climb here, kind of a climb to a short plateau to another climb before that gentle turn down to the finish line. As she's now come through 3 kilometers in 9:41.4 and waiting for the time difference between her and Hoffman. It looks like it's now up over 10 seconds.
Yeah, she's just slowly turning that screw, something that we kind of envisioned happening throughout this kind of progression to NXR. She's been on kind of a crushing schedule of win after win, course record after course record. Can she do the same today?
Sunny Weber has moved up out of the state of Illinois. She's now in 4th as you see those top 6 now with 3 of the girls under 10 minutes through 3 kilometers of this race, waiting for that team score as well as they score the placings through the top 5.
And we got kind of 4 athletes, 3, 4, 5, 6, that are all kind of working together as they start moving up. But I don't think anybody is in tension for taking over first.
You see Lemrak at the top right there waiting for their 5th runner. They are now down with 3 of their 5. That's, of course, Carmel, just spelled backwards as they use their club teams here at Nike Cross Regionals. Prospect, Purple, Runners High, all now with 4 runners through. So some good low sticks for all those teams. But now the difference maker is going to be maybe that 5th runner and where they are vis-a-vis the rest of the field. You can see that pack is starting to spread out just a little bit. So, you know, if you need your 5th runner to pick up 5, pick up 10 points, the time to make a move is waning.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Paul. Those big numbers really come with that 4th, 5th athlete, where that last long home stretch that we've been talking about all day can really be the decision maker. If your 4th or 5th athlete starts to fade kind of down that home stretch, that can be the difference between 90 and 110 points.
Well, right now there is no question who is in complete control of this race at Laverne Gibson, and that's Natasha Dudek, the sophomore out of Ann Arbor, Michigan.
We talked about the nice part about this course, especially for leaders, is you're out of sight, out of mind. You have this big banners, you have the crowd, and you hide behind these turns, where once that chase pack stops being able to see you, then it really becomes a race for second, third, maybe fourth. And as we see here, I think there's going to be a couple changes in that top 5 before we get to the finish line.
She's helping Purple Track Club right now with the in-progress overall lead in the team standings. Again, if Purple goes to NXN as a team, that opens up the door for someone outside of the top 5 individually also to get their ticket punched. Here now is Dudek as you see her making that final hairpin turn of the day before she loops herself back down to where they started into that long stretch for home. But she's now through 4 kilometers, Ben. 13:01.8, the sophomore blazing a new trail here in Indiana.
Yeah, this is really kind of turning into a bit of a victory lap over this last 1K, barring that nothing terrible happens. We did see a little bit of shakeup yesterday, though, with a cheeky fall.
Well, she equals the last kilometer of 3:20.4. She would be right on that course record for this race course, maybe slightly under it. So we'll keep an eye on what she has. It's going to be a little bit easier on this last kilometers. As you see on the elevation tracker, she's going to get a little bit of a benefit of a downhill, but then she just has to gauge that long road from the last place she saw when the gun was fired, the start into the finish line chute. But she now can be thinking about not only a win here in the regional, but also potentially a historic run at Nike Cross Regionals.
Historic run, and also that securing that 1 point for the Purple Track Club that came in as a favorite.
Just a little bit of a stretch here before she'll make that final right-hand turn. And still looking very comfortable with no one in sight. Hoffman second through 4K. Sunny Weber's moved up to third ahead of Isabel Keller and Elena Aldrink. Katie Berkshire trying to hold on to sixth as she was 7 seconds ahead of Kyla Babb, who's trying to make a late charge to maybe make it to NXN in one of those individual spots. But now, here's the turn for home for Dudek.
Yeah, and she's no stranger to being alone. She won her state meet by a minute. The question is this win going to play a factor at all with setting this course record? She has 4 500 meters to go. And maybe she cements her name in the record books.
16:31.1 back in 2023. In the state meet, Dudek beat Forsyth's meet record by 19 seconds. And she is now in total isolation. No distress on the face. In full stride, in full rhythm, and in full control. And look at that lead she has on the rest of the field as the clock ticks to 16 minutes. This will be a championship run for the ages in Indiana. As for the second consecutive time, Natasha Dudek breaks a Rachel Forsyth record and is a course record holder and Midwest regional champion.
Just fantastic running overall. Patient, calm, mature, comes away with another record.
Almost 13 seconds better than the previous record, but now here's Emma Hoffman as she's trying to close. Sunny Weber has had a very good last stretch to this race, and she's coming in ahead of Keller. So it's Dudek, Hoffman, and Weber. And then Isabel Keller coming in fourth, and the all-important fifth spot. As we wait for them to come to the line, that'll be Kyla Babb who closes the gap and will finish in fifth. Katie Berkshire now has to wait as she just comes across in sixth. as the best in the region, part of an historic race. And Dudek, Hoffman, Weber, Keller, and Babb are all guaranteed spots in the line in Portland in December.
And the top three all break 17 minutes. Fast, hard running. But again, you saw Natasha early on be patient. She looked like it was almost comfortable. And I think that's one of the tricks with these great athletes. They make it look easy. And you mentioned Emma Hoffman took that big look back, but she held really strong, kind of running almost a completely solo race. And sometimes when you're in that second position where you're not kind of closing on the leader, you can feel that feeling of just being hunted. And she was hunted for almost 4K of this 5K race. That's a tough position to be in.
Well, once again, the narrative for Lemrac, they've got low sticks on their first three runners, but they waited a long time for runner number 5. Let's see if that changed over the last kilometer as we await the first team to have 5 of theirs across the line, with the top 2 teams joining those individuals at the 20th edition of Nike Cross Nationals in Portland in December. You know, and we're deep into this race now and still waiting for those 5, and I think we're going to get them here shortly. Looks like Cadet has got their 5th runner in. Doesn't mean they will be in the lead here. Prospect got 5 across. But I think this is going to be a pretty competitive race for the top 2. And look, and this is all unofficial, of course, and will be kind of dynamic here for just a little bit as they remove some of those individual results. But right now, Runners High and Purple Track Club 1 and 2, with Cadet Distance Project in 3rd. The margin right now is just 3.
Yeah, great running by Runners High. They came in, maybe not the highest of places individually, but great pack running.
Well, while we await the adjudication of the team winner, there is absolutely no doubt of the individual winner today in a race where we've seen the fastest time ever run at Nike Cross Regionals and the course at Laverne Gibson. Natasha Dudek is with Brandon Jones. Brandon?
Here with Pioneer sophomore Natasha Dudek, the Michigan State champion. She also is the Nike Midwest Regional champion in a new course record of 16:18. Natasha, talk to us a little bit about your race today.
I knew this was a very competitive race. I mean, all NXR meets are just crazy stacked with amazing athletes and girls. So I knew that it was going to be an extremely fast start. I just decided to go out as hard as I can, find my place in the front there, and then hang on, see how I do, see how I feel, and then push when my instinct tells me to.
So new course record, breaking a former Pioneer athlete's record, Rachel Forsyth, another course record to this month. Talk to us about that a little bit, Natasha.
I mean, it is an honor to be out here healthy and everything. These records are just kind of the sprinkle on top because everybody knows that the race and the place is just what it's all about. But I mean, it means a lot to me. I admire Rachel a lot. So yeah, it's really, really cool.
Well, she's punched her ticket to Portland. We can't wait to watch your race later next month, Natasha. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Brandon. I mean, what impresses you, I mean, obviously sophomore showing national caliber talent at a very young age, but her race, she was patient at the very beginning, didn't let this race get away from her, and then it looked like her race plan was mile in. If I'm feeling good, I'm just going to press it, and no one could stay with her.
Yeah, she said in the interview she went out hard, but it looked like she was fairly relaxed. I think some of that is just kind of looking back quick, but she ran really well. But the one thing I'll say is some of that comes back to what the coach is doing, right? Obviously, with Rachel Forth, she's breaking her records. There's that culture of excellence, right, at Ann Arbor Pioneer or the Purple Track Club, that they kind of build in such great culture in running.
And it would appear now that Purple Track Club will be one of our two teams, as those scores are still changing ever so slightly, but the margin here, really margin between first, second, and third, leaves us to be comfortable in now saying that Purple Track Club and Runners High will be the girls' qualifiers out of the region. Still a chance for Cadet to get there as a at-large selection. On the boys' side, I mentioned earlier we did not have the chance to show you the team scores before we got to the girls' race. Columbus Thorn is the boys' team champion with 131 points, and PNXC, which is Plainfield North, they were second with 189 points. Monster Island and Downers North were third and fourth, and don't know if we'll have a chance to show you those full team results on the boys' side, but wanted to pass along those top scores, and everything obviously available on Athletic Live if you want to check out all the results from today and rewatch that boys' race that unfolded just a few minutes ago. Still have a few runners coming to the line, but quick work, as it always is in these championship races. Two very different types of races today, Ben.
Yeah, we kind of knew that going in a little bit. Sometimes the guys are just a little bit more evenly matched across the board, and it made for a really exciting race. And as well as it was exciting on the girls' side, just watching Natasha execute such a great 5K. I'm curious to see what she does at NXN, kind of moving up to that next division where you bring in the entire country. And then she has to play a little bit of game of chess about how does she move.
And you can see she just pulled away from Emma Hoffman and the rest of the field and continued to drive home. And when she was done traversing this 5 kilometers, she had another course record under her belt, rewriting the record books in both the state meet and most recently now at Laverne Gibson in Nike Cross Regional. 16:18.5 as she moves the course record down from the previous mark of 16:31.8. So 19-second effort to improve the course record at the state meet. A little bit under 13 seconds here at regionals, and who knows, as you said, Ben, what might be possible. I think the one thing about and the one unknown in December in Portland is weather will most definitely be a factor, and we've got a couple of pretty classic points on that course where you got to be ready to learn how to attack, like the climb in particular right towards the end there, that double kind of little mini bunny hill.
Yeah, and I think the tough part is if you're ankle deep in mud, the course changes, the dynamics of the race change. Slipping and sliding means a little bit of difference in race tactics, and it's not always the fittest person wins. It's, can you stay on your feet, can you make good decisions, and can you